Good afternoon. The end of the Assad regime has begun a catalogue of grave concerns. Looking back, the rebels who brought down the dynasty want Assad's officials investigated for war crimes. In a moment, we'll take you inside a hospital morgue where doctors say they have found evidence of torture. Looking forward, Syrians are concerned about Israel's moves, with reports of Israeli airstrikes overnight and tanks moving close to the border. A UN official says right now millions urgently need aid. And here, a Home Office minister has admitted the seismic changes in Syria could see a return of some British jihadists to the UK. Chloe Keedy has the latest.
The advance of Israeli tanks into Syrian territory is a move Israel argues is for its own protection. It claims its troops have travelled no further north than this buffer zone, separating Syria from the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights. It has denied reports that its forces are closing in on the capital, Damascus, which woke this morning to the aftermath of another night of airstrikes. Israel claims it's targeting military bases and weapons stores of the former President Assad, but the international community is urging it to stop.
We are continuing to see Israeli movements and bombardments into Syrian territory. This needs to stop. This is extremely important.
Rescue workers said they'd finished their search for secret underground cells in the notorious Sudnaya prison. But many are today still searching for any clue to tell them what happened to their loved ones here. This woman, whose son died in the prison, said it's impossible to find a woman in Syria who did not lose her brother, her child, her husband. There's not a woman in Syria who didn't lose someone. The extraordinary sight of hundreds of prisoners finally escaping this Damascus jail has prompted questions here about whether British jihadists being held in prisons in northern Syria could also walk free and return to the UK.
Well, obviously our security services will have an eye on any such things, and we communicate and cooperate with our neighbours. Of course it's a concern, and it's a concern that we constantly act on.
The concern for these Syrians is how to get back into their country. This border crossing from Turkey is open today for the first time in more than a decade, packed with people who must finally be daring to hope about what the future might hold. Chloe Keedy, ITV News.
Our international editor, Emma Murphy, has been inside a hospital morgue in the capital, Damascus, after reports that 40 bodies have been found showing signs of torture. A warning that Emma's eyewitness account does include some brief footage of a body bag.
This is one of the main hospitals in Damascus. In the last few hours, a number of bodies have been brought here, and so families have found out that this might be where those that they've been missing have been found. Just through here is where they're doing the autopsies. They're up to number 35 already today, and here they are now so full they're having to leave the bodies in the corridor. This is body number 32. People are being asked to take a look at the photographs that are being taken of the faces under the shrouds, and then those faces are being put outside for people to look at. They are then told to identify their relative by a number. They will then be taken into this room and be able to look at their relatives in person for the first time, no doubt, for many of them in many years. We're told by the doctors that the great majority of these bodies show signs of torture. That would fit with what we've heard from other hospitals around here where bodies have been found in morgues. This is going to be part of the investigation into the Assad regime. This sort of information that they gather in these hospitals will definitely be put together as part of a war crimes investigation. Whether that goes anywhere further, however, is impossible to know.
Our international editor, Emma Murphy, reporting from Damascus.